Hello audience. Regrettably, your regular host G-Monster is, shall we say, indisposed at the moment. He came down with a sudden and sadly unavoidable case of being beaten and tied up in my basement. And so I, the smouldering, the sexy, the salacious Sean Connery, will be taking over for the evening. I hope you enjoy this small divergence from your regularly scheduled programming. Or don't. I'll still be rich and sexy at the end of the day, regardless of what you decide to do. I have news, friends. As we speak, the Shire is in great peril. Great legions of traitors, liberal arts students, and filthy, unwashed foreigners march upon its borders. Standing in their way is a great armed host of disgusting mutants armed with sticks, and these bloody equestrian bum sniffers who will take the glory and spoilers to be had on the battlefield. What will happen to the hobbits? Why am I still playing a game that came out 12 years ago? I, the omniscient Connery, know the answers to these questions and more. But frankly, I lost interest in this video 10 minutes ago, and so I can't be bothered to tell you. I suppose you'll have to watch the video and find out for yourself, you turkeys.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome back once again. My name is Jordan, also known as J.R.R, and thank you for joining me for another third Age Reforged replay battle. This one is a 2 versus 3, no rules, 10k funds night fight, and it's going to get absolutely crazy. So let's go ahead and let's look at the army compositions, and then we can jump right into the battle. The first army is the army of Harad, being commanded by yours truly. I have a single unit of Serpent Bodyguard hanging out here in the center of my army. I've also got 1 unit of Trollmen of Harad, 2 units of Belegear Footmen, 4 units of Southron Warband spread evenly across my 2 flanks. I've also got 3 units of Southron Archers, 2 units of Corsair Blackguard, a single unit of Ballista hanging out right over here, and over on my right flank, chilling over with my Catapult, I've got 2 units of Castimir's Chosen, and that's pretty much the entirety of my army. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at my ally here. This is the Free Peoples of Eriador, being commanded by Romer Sigma. He's got 1 Ballista, 4 units of Cardolan Royal Guard, 3 units of Greenway Guard, 3 units of Lumbermen, 3 units of Gatekeepers, and 2 units of Battle-Ready Dunedain. Over here on the far flank, you can see the army of the High Elves being commanded by Boban. He's got 1 unit of Catapult, 1 unit of Elder Rinway Swordsmen, 1 unit of Northern Archers, 2 units of Elder Rinway Archers, 3, I believe, units of Mithlon Nobles, 1 unit of the Phallus Lords here, who just got a buff in the patch, so now they're absolutely insane. He's got 1 unit of Lindon Longspears and a couple units of Sword Quendi hanging out here on his left flank. To top it all off, and, you know, just in case, always a good idea to bring at least 1 unit of Cav, he has a single unit of Elder Rinway Lancers. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at the army of the Defenders. The first defending army is the army of the Orcs of Gundabad, being commanded by Wan Wei. He's got 2 units of Guardians of Karn Doom, 1 unit of Witchrealm Hammerguard. These guys are absolutely amazing, one of the best units in the game. He's also got a single unit of Witchrealm Blackguard, which is where his general is hanging out. You can see Azog there looking absolutely hideous. He's also got a single unit of the Trolls of Gundabad, 3, I believe, units of the Gundabad Guard up here. These are heavy spearmen, really excellent at holding a line. He's also got 3 units of Witchrealm Pikes, 2 units of Goblin Trackers. I'm pretty sure that's everybody. Actually, no, that's not true. He's got about 3 units of Orc Fellers who's hiding out over here in the woods. The second defending army is the army of Rohan, being commanded by Rekrace. He's got a couple units of Dismounted Rail Guard right here. 1 unit, I believe, of the Marshals of the Red. Not too much infantry in this Rohan force at all. He opted actually to go for an entire, almost entirely Cav-heavy force. Oh yeah, I've got a Ballista here for the Orcs of Gundabad as well. And he's got... Rekrace has 1 unit of Rohan Bodyguard, I believe, like 3 units of Royal Guard, like absolutely crazy. I don't know how he managed to fit all of these into his budget. 4 units of Aelred Heavy Lancers, 2 units of Riders of Rohan, 2 units of Mounted Shield Maidens, and 2 units of Rittermark Skirmishers. And to top it all off, way back here, he's got a single unit of Royal Lords. So that's it for the army compositions. Let's jump right into the battle. And right off the bat, you can see Rohan mobilizing the entirety of his cavalry force, bringing them over here to menace my right flank, where Eriador and a large portion of my army are hanging out. So I'm trying to mobilize my spearmen, get them into place to ward off any potential cavalry charges. It's going to be quite the fight. We didn't realize that Rohan was going to take that much cavalry, and none of us are really prepared for it. Eriador has 0 Cav whatsoever, and I only have a single unit of Cav. And of course, our High Elven brothers over there on the far left flank only have a unit of Cav as well. And Rohan has enough to fight us in both places at once. So really, it's going to be quite the fight here against all of that very powerful heavy cavalry. Over here you can see the High Elves of Boban being extremely aggressive, moving up with all of his units of Mythlon Nobles, moving his archers up onto the hill, getting ready to engage the forces of Man of Huanwei down here in the valley. Look at this. These Sword Quendi now forming up for a charge, getting ready to charge forward into what looks like some Gundabad Guard and some Witch Realm Pikemen who are well prepared for them. Look at this. Look at this incoming charge. You can see those elves just slowly creeping over the hill, getting themselves into position to charge this this orcish position right here. Look at this. Those Phallus Lords leading the charge in the vanguard, getting ready to engage the Witch Realm Pikes. That's going to be an easy fight for these Phallus Lords, who are extremely strong. This is actually an 86 defense, 6 hit point infantry unit. Absolutely devastating in close combat. You can see the Gundabad player trying to bring up some of his orcs of Gundabad. I think he's trying to outflank these Phallus Lords and get to surround them, which is really the only chance you have at destroying them. And Rohan now bringing in some of his Rittermark skirmishers and just a huge wave of cavalry. Look at this, charging into to the flank of these Sword Quendi, who are all bunched up. This is a really unfortunate position for them to be in. These cavalry are going to be able to surround them and launch all kinds of terrible hammer and anvil strikes into the back of this unit, completely wiping them out. And at the same time, they have enough forces to move down here and engage the skirmish line of Boban, who has unfortunately left his Eldarin archers extremely vulnerable. Look at this. Arid Heavy Lancers now coming around the back, getting ready to smash these guys, coming from behind and absolutely devastate them. A charge from the Royal Guard now going off into the flank of these Eldarin archers. Oh, absolute devastation. These guys not up to the task at all of fighting this very powerful cav unit. I mean, they are still Noldor, but they really don't have it in them. The Rohan player just pouring more and more of his cavalry in here. I think he's going for the catapult now of the High Elven player. Unfortunately, Boban has left his catapult wide open, and the Rohan player is going to take full advantage of that. I think we can see some of his skirmishers now being tread underfoot here. Oh no, these are the Eldarin Lancers who have charged into the battle against Royal Lords and a lot of Royal Guard. This is really going to be tough for these Lancers. They are an extremely powerful cav unit, one of the best in the game, but honestly, they can't fight. Look at this. This is just a nightmare for any infantry force. These cavalry are just all over the place, and there's really no answer to them, and they're just able to run willy-nilly hither and thither and just slay as they will. High Elf player trying to bring some of his Mythlon nobles now back into to his back lines to support his archers and to maybe save his catapult and his cav unit, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Luckily for the High Elf player, the Requiem hasn't really been focusing too much on his Eldarin archers, but I'm sure that that's going to change pretty quickly here. But it looks like, yes, they're actually going after my ballista. This huge cavalry charge here coming after my ballista, and one of my units, of course, are Blackguards. I'm going to try and stop them and have them stand their ground, but honestly, these cav just too fast. We're not going to have any chance to unload our payload of javelins into these guys before they crash in to my poor Corsair Blackguard unit, who are just getting absolutely pancaked. Look at this, down to 65, 63. This poor unit down to less than half strength at this point. Really not able to fight this huge cav charge without the support of spears and other missiles. So now that they've run over this unit of Corsair Blackguards and destroyed my ballista unit as well, you can see my ballista crew now running for the hills. They are free to get into our back lines, which is extremely unfortunate. So really what I've done is I moved most of my forces away from that left flank, where I'm definitely at my weakest. You can see in second unit of Southron Warband. I had divided them equally on my two flanks, but I'm moving now the two units I had stationed over there on the left into my right so that I can protect the rear of my final remaining position, which is where most of my infantry now is hanging out. You can see a lot of Southron Warband, a lot of archers alongside the warriors of Eriador, getting ready for an overwhelming attack here onto this defending left flank. This is going to be actually really huge because they are not at all prepared for this. They've got a couple units of pikes and such here. Oh, let's see if we get anybody. Oh, nice. Got an accidental shot into that unit of Royal Guard, just absolutely flattening a huge number of them. Another bringing in, this is Man of Huanwei bringing in his ballista to try and lay some counterfire down on that catapult, because if he doesn't, that catapult is going to decimate these entrenched defending positions right here. Oh man, look at that fireball. Oh, another good hit on those Royal Guard. Looks like we just barely missed those pikemen. I'm pretty sure it's actually the pikemen that I'm aiming for in the first place, but we're just not having luck hitting them. But hey, we got the Royal Guard, so that's a nice consolation prize. Over here, things looking really grim for the High Elves. Looks like Man of Huanwei is falling back some of his infantry in the face of these Phallus Lords, who are now backed up by some Mythlon Nobles. This is a really deadly High Elven infantry combination, and he's trying to pepper them with his Goblin Trackers, but these guys honestly aren't strong enough, and they don't have AP missiles, so they are not going to do a whole lot to this heavily armored high elven infantry. This cavalry, on the other hand, look at this, a huge cavalry blob now coming in from Recreus, trying to shut down these high elves. But these Phalos lords and these Mythlon nobles, not to be underestimated, they will easily fight their way out of this. And most of these, I think, are just Riddermark skirmishers, and some of the shield maidens as well who are in there. But honestly, this is a fight I think that the high elves are more than capable of winning, especially with all these Phalos lords in the area. Up here on the heights, the high elves definitely in control. These Gundabad Guard being driven back very, very quickly by the combined forces of the high elves. I've got another unit of Blackguard Corsairs coming up here onto the hill. Look at this very juicy target. What we're going to try and do is go for these trolls first of all. But yeah, let's see this beautiful volley that's going to take shape here in just a few moments. Yeah, you can see in the back there all of that artillery and all of that arrow fire going into these infantry blobs as they move in to meet one another. Well, it looks like we're going to try and pull back a little bit. Come on. Throw those javelins. We all want to see it. Yeah, trying to get those trolls. Definitely want to try and take a little bit of the HP off of those trolls because we don't have a whole lot of high-value infantry units because this is a 10k money battle. Our armies are quite small. Yeah, look at that. Did a little bit of damage, but it's not really too effective, so we're going to switch our attention over there to the Witch Realm Blackguard. Over here on the defending left flank, things are getting pretty insane. The lumbermen of Romer Sigma now engaged up on the hill against some Witch Realm pikemen. And you know what? They're not doing half bad. Not at all. These guys are AP, pretty decent attack values, and they do have some support from the ballista down there on the hill. Look at this, just peppering this Witch Realm pikeman position, getting a lot of really nice, really easy kills. And that catapult now coming in, trying to hit some of these Gundabad Guard. That would be a really nice blow to the defending forces. It looks like the Gundabad catapult crew has now abandoned their position, or they had earlier. Now they're trying to come back and lay a little bit of fire down on the attacking artillery pieces down here in the valley. And before they were driven back, look at this, they did a lot of damage to this poor catapult unit. And looks like more of the cavalry of Rohan here menacing the back lines of the attacking forces. Look at this. This is where all of their best cavalry is. They've got some Royal Guard here and there. They've got some air raid heavy lancers. I think they've got the Royal Lords in there as well. Yeah, look at them right there. Those wonderful barded horses. This is a very scary cavalry force. They're charging now into battle against a group of my Southron warband. I'm trying to mobilize the rest of my spearmen and even my cavalry to bring them into this position and try and surround these guys. You can see, looks like that's my general's bodyguard unit in the back here, rushing in to try and support my infantry line, because these cavalry more than capable of fighting Southron warband head on and beating them quite handily. Also bringing in a couple units of Casimir's Chosen, trying to cut these guys down. A nice big charge here, going off into the Royal Guard, probably knocking down quite a lot of their hit points, but my cavalry don't have a hope. These Serpent Bodyguards are tough, but they are not tough enough to take on Royal Guard, not in the least. Even with this Spearman support, there's just too much heavy cavalry here from Rohan to really mount an effective defense against. Look at this. They're just now going to charge right through my lines, right through my Spearmen, and get into the kind of the soft underbelly. They're going to go ahead and try and take out another artillery piece. This Rohan cavalry has just been such a nuisance to us the whole battle, just absolutely destroying. I think they destroyed like 3 artillery pieces so far, and it's really starting to tell. We need our artillery. We need it to help us assault these entrenched positions up here. And if we don't have it, and the defenders rather do, then we are at a huge disadvantage. Yeah, things looking really grim for my Southron archers and that artillery crew. Really, we just don't have anything to pin these guys down long enough for us to really do any significant damage to them. I am trying to bring in some of my Casimir's Chosen, some of my bodyguards as well. I think are in there, trying to fight back these Royal Guard and all these cavalry, but we're just not able to pin them down. They're just too slippery for us. Now look at this, a nice hammer and anvil charge going into the back of my Southron warband, who are fighting against these Witch Realm pikemen up on the hill alongside of Eriador. And it looks like Eriador, I think, has been driven back at this point. And you can see some of my Beligear footmen up here as well. But since Eriador has now been driven back, these guys are quite isolated. So I'm going to try and move in one of my units of Casimir's Chosen to try and anchor this line. These guys are very tough and they will fight for a long time. But even this fresh, very healthy unit of Casimir's Chosen, defeat seems almost certain. Things definitely looking very grim for the attacking assault up here on this hill. Just not able to penetrate through these Gundabad Guard and these dismounted Royal Guard. And at the same time, there's a lot of missile fire being poured into our infantry blob. Oh, look at that. The High Elves managing to take down Man of One Way's general. That is a small victory, but I don't think it's going to be enough to see any routing over here. A lot of very elite good and bad troops now holding the line up there on the top of that ridge. But yeah, a lot of archers over here, so we're going to try and silence them, bringing in a unit of Southron Warband alongside a unit of Lumbermen from Romer Sigma. Really going to put the hurt on this unit. These are light infantry, light spearmen, but they're more than enough to take on these goblin trackers in melee and absolutely wreck them. Over here, the High Elves are starting to slow down a little bit. You can see them being driven back, more of these Witch Realm pikemen being thrown into the battle to help drive back the High Elven infantry. This Witch Realm Blackguard now fighting toe-to-toe with what looks like the Elder Ringway Swordsman. I believe this is the unit that took down the good and bad general, and they are being backed up by a unit of Mithlond nobles. Up here on the hill, you can see pretty decent positioning from the High Elven archers. They are able to kind of weather that arrow storm from those goblin trackers for a very long time. These guys have quite low missile damage. They're really kind of throwaway archers, best used against light infantry and things without a shield. But against these Elder Enemy archers, they're not going to be terribly effective. They can shoot at these guys all day. They really won't be able to penetrate that beautiful golden heavy armor of the High Elves. Down here, you can see a push beginning to move towards the town center, trying to take that from the Orcs of Gundabad player. If we can get that, we will definitely force the defending positions to collapse back towards the town square, because they can't lose that or they will lose the battle. So the Greenway Guards here doing pretty decently against the Guardians of Carn-Dûm. This is not a fight that these kind of mid-tier spearmen are going to win, but hey, they're holding on, and that's what's important. You can actually see a couple, just a very depleted unit of my Blackguards. I think this is the unit that got kind of run over a little bit earlier, trying to support this this spear line and get into the flank of these Guardians of Carn-Dûm. Yeah, things definitely looking grim over here. Even these dismounted Dunedain having a hard time fighting against these Hammer Guard of all things. I think there's there's the other unit, I believe, of Dunedain. Oh no, those are gatekeepers now that charge into battle against the Witch Realm Hammer Guard, trying to cut them down. But unfortunately, this elite unit is more than tough enough to deal with that kind of assault. Over here, these gatekeepers now locked in combat against more of the Rohan heavy cavalry. These guys just everywhere at once, being an absolute nuisance, causing us so many problems. And they've now charged into battle against these Cardolan Royal Guard, who I believe are fighting some good and bad troops here down in the center, alongside a unit of dismounted Royal Guard. So you can see we're trying to bring some Spearmen and some Castamir's Chosen into the rear of these Royal Guard, really, these Royal Lord and these Royal Guard. We really want to shut these guys down. We've seen an opportunity here, and we're going to try and take it to get our Spearmen in here and pin them. But the Rohan player Recrius is not going to give us the opportunity. He's going to charge through this little weak point here in our line, and is going to manage to save quite a lot of his cavalry to live to fight another day. Yeah, look at this. A significant portion of them getting out of there. I mean, he's only down to about 17 Royal Lords, but these Royal Lords are so scary that a unit of 17 might as well be a unit of 50. Look at this. Absolute chaos erupting all over this hill. So many dead warriors have fallen, trying to take the city of Hobbiton. Up here, Rohan definitely firmly in control of the hill. Our assault on this defending left flank has absolutely failed. These Marshals of the Red alongside the Royal Guard pushing back a huge portion of our army. You can see some of my units now routing off the field. Not really enough left to really make a difference anyway. Look at this. Still so much cavalry. This Rohan bodyguard unit hasn't even been committed to the fight. So now I'm starting to move back some of my spearmen to try and engage this line. But honestly, this is a mistake on my part. This is just throwing good money after bad. I've still got units here that are effective. My best opportunity, I think, to use these guys well is to fight down here in the valley alongside the Free Peoples of Eriador. But no, instead I'm actually just going to move my Castamir's Chosen, a very healthy unit here as well, along with my 2 remaining units of Southron Warband, into these Royal Guard and those Royal Lords. I really want to get a piece of them if I can, and to try and push back some of these Rohan infantry alongside that cavalry, because that cavalry really has been an aggravating thorn in our side throughout the entirety of the battle. And look at this down here. Another unit of their Rohan cavalry has just wiped out what remains of my catapult crew. Or no, this is my Southron archers, just being an absolute terror all over the battlefield. Over here, though, the Eriador push is beginning to bear fruit. As you can see, they are now firmly in control of this lower plaza, and they are they are able to begin to fire into the side and rear of these Guardians of Karn Doom, who are going to start to fall back now to the town center and get ready for their final stand. But look at this. Now pushing into the town center, my unit of Trollmen of Harad, extremely healthy. Look at this, almost full strength. Still at 123. This is going to be a desperate fight, even for these very elite good and bad units alongside what looks like the remains of some Royal Guard units that probably routed into the town square. Yeah, so the defenders really need to pour some units back into the town square if they hope to hold it, but I don't think that they have the troops left at this point. Over here we can see another unit of Guardians of Karn Doom fighting hard against the Greenway Guards, beginning to push them back. I've still got a unit of South Run Archers over here, so I'm going to start to follow them back up here onto this hill in anticipation for a push forward by these Guardians of Karn Doom, but it doesn't look like they're going to bother. No, instead they're gonna chase down some of these Greenway Guards, and then I believe fall back to the center, because very dangerous exposed position they're in right now. You can see this high elven catapult, well camouflaged here in the tree, taking some pot shots at those poor Guardians of Karn Doom. So a very wise decision on the part of Man of One Way to get those guys the heck out of there. Oh, that could have been really devastating. And it looks like that is my general now falling in combat over here with the Marshals of the Red and I believe the remains of the Rohan Cavalry. Really a devastating loss for my forces up here, who are not really too keen on sticking around. You can see some routing going on here. Some of my Southbound Warband running for their lives. These guys, I'm sure, will be not long for this world. I think I've got a couple units of Casimirs, chosen down to a mere 9. Getting absolutely butchered. That unit's going to start to rout really quickly here. That's basically the ends of our assault up here. And this is, I believe, the basically the best part of the defending forces that still remain on the battlefield. So now they're going to have to try and either push over here through the heights, back down into the town square to assist what remains of their infantry in the town square, or they're going to try and push through these Eriador forces here and just go for a beautiful glory charge. So we'll see what they do in just a second here. Let's go see or go take a look, rather. English is hard today at what's happening over in the town square. Yeah, these Guardians of Karn Doom really don't have a hope and a prayer against all of these Trollmen. Look at this. Still 119, extremely healthy. This is a huge, huge advantage to have on the battlefield this late in the game. A very powerful infantry unit like that, it's hard to beat. Absolute chaos. Now, the Phallus Lords in the town square as well. The attacking forces firmly in control of this central plaza. This is really unfortunate for the defenders. I don't think that they have the troops left to get it back. There's a unit of Guardians of Karn Doom now routing into the town center. Really far too late for that. There's not really going to be anywhere for them to go. They're just going to come in here and get stuck in with the Cardolan Royal Guard, and I think fall very quickly to their superior numbers. Over here, it looks like the Marshals of the Red charging in to the Cardolan Royal Guard. Rohan is going for glory, trying to take down as many of the attackers as possible. In the back here, you can see these Cardolan Royal Guard now buying time with their lives to give the Gatekeepers of Eriador the opportunity to just absolutely devastate this heavy infantry unit. Looks like some of them are moving into combat. No, he's trying to pull all of them back so he can continue to pelt these Rohirrim infantry with his very deadly crossbows. I could see some catapult fire coming in. I don't know where it was coming from, but I think if that keeps up, we could see some really unfortunate friendly fire. Let's go ahead and let's speed it up just a tad bit. Oh man, look at this. More Cardolan Royal Guard now coming into the battle. I think that's my Southron Archers up there on the hill, pouring in some fire to these Marshals of the Red, trying to support these Cardolan Royal Guard, who are getting cut down. This is a very, very good holding unit. Not great offensively, but they will hold for a long time, and those Marshals of the Red are doing a great job against them. I think that's the... Oh man, look at that devastating friendly fire. That is so unfortunate. Up there on the hill, the High Elves still kind of okay. They got some units of Mythalon Nobles. I believe they were fighting the what remains of the Rohirrim up here. These Royal Lords now completely surrounded. I think this is going to be their final engagement. There's also some Royal Guard in there as well. This is where the Rohirric general died. Up here on this hill, pretty much where he started, in fact. The Rohirrim general, I believe, deployed right up here alongside this ballista. So he made his stand basically up in his command post and died valiantly fighting for Rohan. Over here, a few Southron Archers, not too sure what they're doing. Oh, I see what they're about. Firing down into the unprotected sides of these Royal Guard. Their shield bonus does not count for their right hand, the hand that they hold their weapon in. So this is going to be really devastating, even for these Royal Guard. Oh man, look at this. They're breaking through. These Marshals of the Red are breaking through the Cardinal Royal Guard down to half strength now. Or at least half of what they were just a moment ago. And I think these guys are going to be able to push through here really quickly into these gatekeepers. These gatekeepers, though, not to be underestimated in melee. They may be archers, but look at this. They are also very powerful halberdmen. I think that there's some Phallus Lords in there as well. I see what they've done. They've fallen back to this town square where they can be... Oh, this isn't the town square, never mind. But they've fallen back close enough to the town square that they can be reinforced by these Phallus Lords. Down here from the rear, you can see the Trollmen of Harad have come all the way around and are now getting into the backs of these dismounted Royal Guard and the Marshals of the Red, who now are trying to route through this huge blob of troops into the town square, and that's going to be the end of the battle. A very insane, very, very entertaining 2 versus 3 night battle. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and coming up next, I'm not sure what's going to come up next. Probably, it might not be a replay, actually. It's probably going to be an episode because we've done a lot of replays already. But yeah, whatever it's going to be, I'll see you then. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.